Good morning. Today is the 26th of July and here we are at Grimsthorpe Castle in Lincolnshire for part 2 of a slightly shambolic shuffle around the 2020 Festival of Unexceptional. I do apologise in advance for the wind noise if I fall over, if I get things wrong, if I get interrupted by announcements or music or everything else. I'm afraid just the way that it goes with this channel. So we're going to start with this row here with this Vauxhall Astra Mark II SRI, facelifted one, 1988 to 89 registration, with an interesting tartan interior. I actually filmed a GTE 16 valve this year. Unfortunately I couldn't drive it, which is a shame, but I certainly like to have a go in a Mark II Astra because I hear they're fabulous, so that would be nice. Typical 1980s, sort of all white here, white bumpers and white mirror caps and all sorts of things, and a little spoiler, brilliant. And then we would Toyota Previa, first generation Previa. This will be Solaire model, presumably that means it's got a big sunroof. 1996, 1997 registration. Engine is kind of in here somewhere. I think it's just underneath the driver and passenger seats of one of these, so sort of mid-engine type thing. Fantastic kind of engineering to produce something like this, and it's a shame that Toyota's not maybe as adventurous as it used to be, or many manufacturers like that too actually. Then a 2004 Daewoo Matiz, one of the last of the Daewoo badged ones. Chevy badges started coming in 2004. It's not the same as the ENC, which one that is actually here. He doesn't own it anymore. It is around here. We will get to it, but this is one of the later ones. My gosh, viewers, a Polo Harlequin. These were strange things. So we can see that the base car of these was this sort of lime, not lime green, this, I don't know what you call it, spearmint green I think it was called. And then you just add various body panels from other ones. This is actually how they came out of the factory. This is how they were, which is unusual. Obviously my first car was a Mark III Polo. It was a more conventional one. It was a 1998 1.4 CL in bright green. This one, personal plate, I don't know exactly what year those. Of course it's got to be upgraded on their wheels on the car. They're off like an SE or something. But yeah, there is a Polo Harlequin, viewers. If you've never seen one, that's what it would look like. They're just for sale to drivers, any sort of normal Mark III Polo. And then another Lancia Beta. We saw one of these actually, the concourse section in 79 model. This is a bit earlier, it's a right-hand drive one. 76, 77 registration on and off from Essex. Absolutely amazing, considering the reputation these things had for rust and how many Lancia actually crushed back in the day. It was saloons like this, and it's survived. And here it is. Amazing. I like that, viewers. Then we've got this Bedford Rascal. Again, we saw one of these in the concourse section. Very early one, 86. This is a bit later. I'm assuming these are replica graphics on this, actually. With Traffic Master in there, too. This is a sort of 88, 89 on an F. Brilliant. Viewers, a Vauxhall Senator 2.5. It's what we call the A2 Senator. This is for about 1985-86 on a C. Absolutely fantastic. I love these. Not very common at all. The Granadas at the time were more common than these, I think. This one's an automatic. Absolutely brilliant. Look at that. Look at the back end as well, with this reflective strip. Just fantastic car. So viewers, back with some Volvos. 92, 93 Volvo 940 SE. My suspicion is they might have put upgraded wheels on this. I think the SEs came with sort of hubcap. This one is a turbo though, with the 4-speed plus overdrive transmission, which is very, very, very exciting. I'm very happy about that, viewers. We like these very much. I've driven 4, I think, on the channel 940s. One of them is owned by Mr. Colton, a rubbish mechanic, who has a very similar one. It's also a 92. It's a 940 Wentworth with a 2-litre turbo. It actually might be a 2-litre turbo as well, I don't know, possibly. Then we've got a Mark I Skoda Octavia VRS. Excellent, I drove one of these a little while ago. This one is 2001 to 2 registration. The quite nippy. They set up the same engine as in a lot of the other Volkswagen Group products at the time, this 20 valve turbo. And then a Toyota Tercel from 1986, the estate version. There might be more than one of these here today, actually. I don't know how rare they are. They tend to turn up in pairs, it shows, for some reason, these. And yes, Ian Seabrook from the Hub Nut channel did briefly own one of these. That was a long time ago now, actually. So 86, 87 on a D. I think this is great, but I'm more interested actually in this Renault 21, this facelifted one. I think this is a 1.7 GTS. One of the only cars in the world, I think, where if you have the smaller engine, it's fitted one way round, and the larger engine is fitted another way round. So you get longitudinal and transverse versions of these. 89, 90, 1.7 saloon. The saloons only came out with a facelift. I think the facelift was around 1989. I can't remember quite now. I have got one of these lined up at some point for later in the year. They're very, very rare cars on the 21s. But I'm looking forward to it. Next we have a Nissan Laurel. Now I can't remember, I think this is a C31 Laurel. I have driven one of these, also on a C-plate. I drove it a few years ago. It was this colour actually as well, it was in 2021. Same specification, the 2.4 automatic, which has both Datsun and Nissan badges. That is completely correct for both of this actually. Mark 1 Clear, I think we've seen this before. I like the way it says identify as ULEZ compliant. Fantastic. In your face, Mayor of London. This is an RL Oasis model, 1.2. Final facelift on these was sort of 1996, 97. Particular car is that's sort of the era. And we move on to the next row. Hopefully we won't have any more indiscretions around here. It's really weird actually sometimes at Festive Unexceptional because the core year is in 1970 to 2000 this year, and so seeing this Morris Minor, which is from the kind of late 50s this car will be, is kind of strange. There are older cars that come. There's a Rover P4 around here as well somewhere, but it's weird seeing that actually this is now considered too old for being here. That's very strange. And then we've got a Corsa B, late Corsa B, 2000 plate. The Corsa C's came out the same year. This is a 1.2, I don't know what model this is, it's just got a badge on it. It's automatic, it'd be interesting actually. I thought it was like a 1.4. Anyway, I don't know. And then we've got a Renault Megane Mark 1. This is not the only Mark 1 Megane we're going to be seeing here by any means, viewers. There will be more. This is I think an RN Liberté. The gentleman who owns this, there's the Instagram name cars.dira. He's put some different wheels to this. Those wouldn't originally not been on the car. They look sort of interesting, don't they? So 97, 98 registration. Then a Peugeot 106 Z2. There were so many special editions to these, an absolute ton of them. In fact, the one I drove last year, I think it was, the 106 was also special edition. It was right at the end, I think. It was a 2003, this is a 2000. Then a Volvo 340 base model. Final facelift for these, 1985, 86 registration on this. They actually made these till 1991, so for a couple of years after the 440 came out, for some reason, Volvo were the masters at overlapping models at the time. I don't know why they did it, but there we go. So yeah, DL model, so base spec, probably with 1.4 Clermont engine, which is also in this. This is a Renault 4 GTL from 86-87. Smaller version of the Clermont engine, 1.1 litres in this particular model. Again, a car that lived a long time after they expected it to. I think they were discontinued in 1994 globally, but in our market a long time before that, I think. And yes, it's nothing to do with a new electric Renault 4. Triumph Spitfire 1500, 1976, 1977 registration, with the good old standard SC engine in it. I really should try a Spitfire at some point in my life, viewers. I've never actually managed that yet, which is a shame. I have though managed to drive one of these. This is an X100 XK8 Coupe. This is the facelifted model, which is 2002-3 registration. Got the sort of classic interior in this. They're quite fast, these viewers. When I drove one last year, I had to be very careful my licence wasn't taken away from me, which it wasn't because I exercised control over the throttle pedal. Oh my gosh, a Lancia Ypsilon. Excellent, viewers. Not sold actually over here this generation. This is one from the Netherlands. Unusual looking car. The Lancia brand was discontinued in 1994 in this country due to, well, issues with the beta saloon and rust, which reputation never recovered, unfortunately, which is a shame. Then we've got Mark 1 Focus. There are quite a few of these here this year. LX with some nice alloy wheels on it, facelifted one, 2002 to 2003 plate with the 1.6. I think it's the on these the Z-Tech R in this, I think. Forget now. Then a Proton 1.3G or Proton MPI 1.3. These cars were not called the Saga in this country. They have since been retrospectively called the Saga because it's good to the model name for the early Protons, but they're only called, as you can see, with this facelift which came in, I think 1992 the facelift came in, when they needed to fit catalytic converters and fuel injection to all of them. They were called the Proton 1.3 or Proton MPI 1.3. This is the base model, the GE. You can see, weirdly, how narrow the track is in comparison to the width of the body. I used to own one of these myself. I had a 1993 1.3 GLS saloon, but had a bit more equipment than this. I think it was L35 LPU, I think it was registration of mine. I got it in 2017 for £200 in the days when you could actually get cars with an MOT for £200 that weren't completely rusty. And yes, viewers, we've got another Ian Seabrook car here, the GSA from 1986, I think this is a very late GSA, and this is the same car. Weirdly with these, I think Ian Seabrook used to say this himself, the radio is where you think the handbrake would be, and the handbrake is where you think the radio would be, which is very, very strange. Yeah, there we go. The Matiz also is here somewhere. We'll see if we can find that later. Right, I'm not talking about you. Thank you, Mayor of London. Okay, 1999 Toyota Yaris Mark 1, very early one actually this. I drove one of these quite recently, beginning of last year I think it was. It's a 1 litre, what's it, like a, oh dear, GS I think it was. This is a bit more fancy than that. We've got sort of colour-coded bumpers and things. And then we've got another Mark II Clio, an Étoile, which means star in French. I wonder what engine's in this. Oh look, we've got a brochure for the Étoile. Excellent. You could get a 1.4 or a 1.6. I wonder if it says them. Maybe we'll just go for a 1.4 possibly. It's 2000 plate this. A bit fancier than the one in the concourse section, which is just the 1.2 Grande. So there we go. Another car for about 2000 is this Renault Megane Coupe. Actually got a plate on it from down in sort of Dorset actually, although it was Renault Edinburgh on there, but just a Dorset plate on there. Very nice though. I think this is owned by the same gentleman who actually owns the red one. He's got two of them because he just has. Because why not? Anyway, ooh, a Xantia Activa. Viewers. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to go and lie down a second here. We love it, viewers. And there's one of his old Nokia 5110s. Oh, viewers. I am absolutely, utterly enthralled. I want this Xantia Activa. Please, viewers, let me have the Xantia Activa. In this country, they came just with a 2-litre turbo engine, 150 horsepower. In other markets, you've got other engines, but including a V6. But in our market, only between determined ever sold for the Activas. They are amazing and I want one. Thank you. Right, what's that? 97, 98, and we've got a much earlier one here. It's a 1.8 SX, early kind of pre-facelift car. It even have the badge on the bonnet. The badge on the bonnet is a very early one. 93, 94 on L. I have driven one of these. I drove one towards the end of last year. I think it was a 96 on one I drove. Oh yeah, it's a very early one with the badge up there. Right, and then the first of a lot of Mark IV Fiestas that we've seen. There are a lot of them here today. This one is at 1.3 Encore, which is a base model, and often the Encores were in this colour for some reason, I don't know why. 97, 98 on a, sorry, 96, 97 on a P. Came out in 95, these ones. There we go, meet, ooh. There we go. So, this particular car has got a very low mileage, like 32,000 miles. Extraordinary. 1999 to 2000, Vauxhall Corsa 1.2. Again, the same funny trim level with just a badge and no name as the automatic one. This one's a manual, a little bit earlier. Gosh, it's got Salisbury plates on it, although that's not a Salisbury plate. It's like a JH, it's a Reading plate. Somebody below can tell me what it was at the time. Then a BMW 3 Series Touring. It's the first E36 we've seen. I suspect we'll be seeing many more of these, viewers. I think we will be. This one is a 318i 96, 97 registration. And then a Talbot Horizon. Yes, please, viewers. We like these very, very much. 1.5 Simca Poissy engine. This is 1.5 GLS. Facelifted car. These have a bit of a different dash from the earlier ones. Do we have the trip computer in here or not? Oh, we've got an interesting rev counter on there. I can't see the trip computer in here. Possibly it's not, but not on this one. This is a 1983. Light up rev counter. Yes, please. Yes. Oh, yes, I remember this from the concourse section a while ago. I was here in 2021, just as they say. Very late Ford Puma here, 2001, this particular car. You do sometimes see these on 2002 plates. This is the 1.7, which is one everybody wants. I drove one of these actually a while ago. It was also a red one. It was also a 1.7, and it was fantastic, although I find them a bit cramped for me personally. Right, we'll have a look actually at the Starlet here. There are a couple other things we need to look at, but we'll look at the Starlet first. 1.3 GLI, 93, 94 plate. The thing is with these Starlets is the Toyota always undermarketed them. They always were only ever available in like 1 or 2 specifications in this country, which is just ridiculous. I don't know why. They kind of, as if they didn't want people to buy them. It's very, very strange. So yes, this is a Revo 75. This is the 2.5 V6 model. This is a Cowley built car. It's an early one with the black sills in Wedgwood blue. Probably a connoisseur SC, the Purslane interior, I would have thought. Very nice indeed. Right, viewers, we've got the emergency umbrella out the car and we're going to continue because we can't let a bit of rain stop our shambolic shuffle. So, Peugeot 205 XS. This is just after they introduced the new dashboard in 1988. 88, 89 registration. The XS was kind of like a warm hatch. There we go, new dash in there. As opposed to the GTI. This had, I think, a 1.4 litre engine. The GTIs were available for 1.8 or 1.6 or 1.9 engine. Then Renault Clio, pre-facelift one, 1.4. I think this would be an RT, won't it, with fog lights and things. Oh yes, I think we know exactly this car. Yes, we do, because we filmed it on the channel in 2023, and it does have different rear lights either side. It is a 1.4 RT. Mr. Curry will be around here somewhere, who owns this car. So it's just before they build up the Phase 2 cars, this one. And then a 1994-1995 Fiat Tempra SW, 1.6. This particular car is very, very rare. There are, a handful of these left. The Tempra in general is very rare. I had the privilege of driving a 1990 Tempra, which is the saloon a few years ago. It's owned by Mr. Bushby, who's a Fiat expert. I like that as well. I'd like to try one of those. And then a Renault 25 Symphony, free facelift on actually. I wonder what engine this has got. TX Symphony. Yes, I'd like to drive a Renault 25, viewers. Very, very much. Very, very much be interested in that sort of thing. This one's a little bit worn, shall we say, but I like it anyway.
Been sat on a driveway for a year and a half.
Beautiful. 87, 88 on an E, there we go. And then a Vauxhall Nova that was previously in the concourse. Now the wheels on this, if it's a Nova Pride or something, will be off a sort of higher specification model. I doubt it would have come with these originally. They look fantastic though on this. If it's a 1990, it would be just before they had the second facelift, so just before the second facelift, this one. Nice though. Then a Citroen AX debut. I wonder if this is a 1 litre model actually. Debut kind of a million and one special editions with these. Just one of them, probably a 4-speed gearbox in this kind of thing as well. Oh, it is a 1 litre. There we go. And it's for sale apparently. So, call 07414 456 849. As Mr. Bill from the Fuel Power channel says, who we shall be meeting a bit later on, this could be yours. I don't believe this, viewers. I mean, it's way outside the normal years of Unexceptional. This Peugeot Hogger Escapade, it's actually originally based on a 206, and you can see that from the doors on the side. But there are 207 bits in here as well. Made in South America, I believe. Yeah, 206, little indication of one there as well. I don't know what to say about this. That is just extraordinary. It's from 2010. A bit more normal here, a 2000 Ford Focus Estate. Probably a Z-Tech, yeah, most of them were. Z-Tech was the most popular trim level by far on the Mark 1 Focuses. And it's probably a 1.6. And another car that I've actually driven on the channel, this 1995 Peugeot 205 1.1 Mardi Gras, which is in absolutely fantastic condition. Quite late for a 205. They finished UK production in 1996. It's in excellent condition, owned by David, who is there wearing one of the baseball caps, which is official to the event. Another Focus here, quite a late one, 2004 to 5, one of the last of the Mark 1s. What trim this is? It's a gear. Yes, please, viewers. We like the gears. We'd like a gear with a leather interior as well, wouldn't we? Of course we would. It's probably a 1.6. Most common engine was a 1.6 for the Mark 1 Focus. Then we've got a Suzuki Liana. Yes, viewers. And it's a saloon in 2004. This is the SE model. What an incredible car. I don't know about these wheels, viewers. Not so keen on those, but I mean, yes. When do you see the Liana saloons, apart from when you watch reruns of Top Gear? Brilliant. Also brilliant is this Mark 1 Astra. I love Mark 1 Astras. They're one of the few cars without power steering that are so light that they're just unbelievable. This is 82, 83 registration on a Y. You can also buy the Opel Kadett version in this country. This is the Astra 1.3S EXP. It means to have, I think it was 75 brake horsepower Family 1 engine in here. 99 Reliant Regal, formerly from the concourse section, but probably not eligible for it anymore, unfortunately, because it's too old now. Isn't that crazy? Old Portsmouth plate PO. Obviously supplied by Arthur Daly, nothing but the best. Brilliant. Very, very interesting kind of dashboard, extra gauges in there as well. It's a pretty sensible idea, isn't it? Fabulous. And we've got a Renault 16. Very late one actually, this. They finished I think in 1979, these ones. This is a sort of 78 to 79 plate on a T. They started production I think in 1965, so quite a long run. Replaced really by the Renault 20 effectively, but this is it's a TL, so one of the last, and that's in lovely condition. Very nice. Spalding Classic Car Club, so not too far from here. And then a Reliant Scimitar SS 1600. I think this has the 1.64 CVH in it. As far as I remember, I'm not an expert on these. I'm not an expert on anything, viewers, but you know, I try my best. Probably about right, probably about 1985, something like that, although it's a personal plate. Another R8 Rover, because why not? We'll see quite a few today. I've owned 3, so I'm not complaining. Oh, we've got some information here. This is a 416 GSI automatic from 1990, so it's from the first year of production. Now, the GSIs did not come with standard alloy wheels. They did not come with standard leather interior. You had to specify them, and obviously they make it better, but this has got neither, which is fine. You could also get like ABS and aircon on them, but again, those were quite rare options. Opel Kadett. I think this is a Kadett C. Yes, it's similar to the Chevette. Although, as you look at the front of one of these, you can see this is a 2-door saloon, but it looks quite different from the Chevette 2-door for some reason, particularly at the front end. This one, there we go, look very different from the droop snoot front end you got on the Chevette. So you could get these over here, of course, as well. This is a 1977. This car's been modified. It's got a 2-litre Cavalier engine in it and some natty wheels. It's got an Audi TT, Mark 1 TT. Funny, yeah, these came out in 1998, so definitely eligible for concours if you had an early enough one. Why not? Then we've got this Mark II Fiesta gear. Quite early actually, 1984-85 on a B. And I just drove one of these actually, viewers. I drove one of these recently. It's a much later one than this. Now there are some changes between one of these and also the later ones. And yeah, there we go. Isn't that fantastic? I'll look at the original invoice on here and see exactly what date this is. Often it's not immediately obvious where it is. It's really annoying on these old invoices. You can't see. No, I can't. It's only March 85. There we go. Gosh, it's sort of hidden somewhere. Very nice though. We like that, viewers. Next we've got a K11 Micra. Yes, obviously you buy number plates. Somebody's been very clever there. Twin cam 16 valves. They all were, regardless of whether it's a 1 litre or 1.3. This is this 1.3 Super LX. Interesting. The early one actually, if it's that specification. A bread van, an actual van though. That's a terrible joke. So 1987-88 Polo Mark II. No brake servo in these, no power steering. They're a bit tricky to drive actually because of that. The one I drove in 2021 is actually here. It's around. We'll film it in a bit. But yeah, I find the brakes on them a little bit scary. The steering a bit heavy. A Vauxhall Carlton, excellent. A Mark II, early Mark II actually, 1987-88, like the Polo. This is I think is a 2-litre GL model. Again, the track is quite far inboard, much more than you'd expect. What if we bring the Senators here today? Yeah, 2-litre GL. Brilliant. And the Bondbug, 72-73 registration. Most of them were orange, I think. Excellent. And then a Ford Fiesta Flight. £3,000. I drove one of these actually on No Budget Reviews a couple of years ago. It was exactly the specification. It was a blue one from 1991, 1.1 Flight. A little bit like a Gear, but not quite as fancy, but electric windows I think in these. This one Yeah, for sale. Call 07504 236 606. As Mr. Bill from the Fuel Power channel says, this could be yours. With a tow bar. Why do you want a tow with a 1.1 Fiesta? Interesting. I don't know what this Mark 7's doing here. I don't quite understand that, but we'll just continue here, viewers, and look at this Peugeot 305. Very late one, actually. These were discontinued in 1988, and this is a 8788 registration, so very, very late for one of these. Not very common anymore. I don't think they were that popular in this country for some reason. They were sort of much more popular when the 405s came out, Peugeot. Right, let's cross this over here. We will be ending this part quite soon, because I've just noticed the time, so we will be ending it fairly soon. Mini here, 7273 registration. Call James on 07872 395 001. Okay, do you have twin fuel tanks on this? The fuel tanks on these are tiny. It's a Mini 1000, that one. So we've got something that is possibly even more suitable for the event than the gear we saw, this popular. We didn't even get a rear wiper, and we got the poverty spec dash. Yes, Ford decided that you didn't need a full dashboard for the lower spec Mark II Fiestas, and so we fitted them with a dash, which makes you think, well, I should have paid extra and gone for that gear. So there we go. This person didn't, though. I'm surprised we even got a passenger mirror, to be honest, in this. 1985-86. 2001 Ford Focus Finesse. I presume it's a 1.6 because most of them were. Yeah, there we go. We'll have to skip that V70 views for obvious reasons. We'll go on to this one. Ooh, more cars for sale. Another Mark 1 clear. This one is the Phase 3 96. So a 1.4 RC automatic. Yes, only 39,000 miles. Wow, £1,100. Call 07885 423 173. As Mr. Bill from the Fuel Power channel says, this could be yours. And that is brilliant. I like that. And another Vauxhall Carlton. This one's a 1990. Can't remember what a facelift was for these. Was it like 1991? I forget now. It's a 1.8L, so the base model Carlton. Excellent. And then a Rover 25 GTL. We've definitely seen this before quite recently, haven't we, viewers? Yes. Excellent, viewers. From 2001. Sort of replaced quite quickly after this by the MG ZS, sorry, ZR160, or ZR160. And a couple of Austin Ambassadors. One of them with an interesting paint job. And one of them, which is the actual car used, it's nice up north, the John Shuttleworth series. It's not the original one from 500 Bus Stops. I saw this for the BSV Lane show earlier this month. It is the same car, and it's still wearing the same wheel trims. This is how it appears in the programme. I think that was filmed in about 2006 from memory. It's nice up north. It's a 1.7 HL. We'll have a look at this one, also Y-Reg. Most of the Ambassadors you see are Y-Regs. That's just a fact. This has got different doors of it. Interesting. The door's probably for Princess, actually. There we go. It's a 2-litre HLS. This one is a 1.7 HL. Brilliant. I'm amazed that this car has survived as long as it has. That's brilliant. Right, just give me just 1 second, viewers. We need to check something here. So Streetwise as well, which is based on the same sort of platform as these 25 over there. 2003 to 4 on a 53 plate, and with some nice chrome mirror caps as well. Obviously you could get a 5-door and a 3-door Streetwise. I drove one of these a while ago now, actually. I can't remember what year. I think 2023 I drove a Streetwise. Not very common anymore. So that's it, viewers. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video and comment below, and we shall see you again in the next part for some more incorrect information.